Hello and welcome to another 2 Point Museum video. I'm Ivory Toucan and today we're going to be doing something a little different. Ever since I started this content creation journey only a few months ago, my goal has been a pretty simple one. It was to share my designs, my builds, my ideas and my love for the game 2 Point Museum, hoping that it not only helps the community along the way but perhaps also inspire someone else to try something new or think differently about their own museums. What I didn't really expect was just how incredibly warm and supportive and creative this community would be in return. And the response has genuinely been amazing. People have been sharing tips, feedback, encouragement, and honestly that's been one of the best parts of doing this. But over the last few weeks, a few people have started to share their own creations with me that have been inspired by some of my builds, where they've adapted the ideas that they've seen and experimented in such creatively different ways. So I thought, rather than keeping those designs tucked away, why not shine a light on them? And that's exactly what this video is, a showcase of some of the designs within the community. It's really just a chance to highlight some brilliant builds, celebrate the creativity within this community itself, and hopefully inspire even more people to have a go at just pushing the creative limits of the game itself. So first up, we are heading over to Reddit with a rebuild of Pebbly Heights by the username MotherLead9024. And a little context to this one actually. I was only a few weeks into sharing content online and my designs in general, and I just remember one day opening Reddit and the first post I saw at the top of my feed was this one, and I thought this looked, from the first image I was like, this looks really interesting, let me have another closer look at the rest of the post. And to my surprise, I saw in the description that I had been part of the inspiration behind elements of this build, and it was just such a oh wow moment. So thank you again for that as well anyway. But this museum build is just brilliant. There's so many different elements to it as well, and for the images that they shared online, the symmetry of the main part of the museum was just brilliant. You have the different rooms housing their own sections or different wings of the museum, and those rooms are broken up really nicely with the use of the corridors and the windows, which really helped to also make each section feel a little bit more distinct. And again, it's a good use of space overall, with a blend of the outside decorations as well as the inside as well. What I really like about this specific layout is that you've got the amenities such as the bathroom and the gift shop and a few other bits of like seating as well within the middle sort of like main atrium way, which, you know, would really help with the overall flow of the museum itself as the guests move through. And, you know, it looks really great as well. And let's just have a quick look at some of the sections in a bit more detail. So we'll move to the layout of the Space Gibbons artifact. So it's a nice compact room. It's decorated with a simple touch, you know, so it's not overdone, and you don't always need to overdo it, and this really shows us, you know, how that can be done right as well. The blend of the different exhibits throughout here, so you have obviously the Space Gibbons artifacts mostly on the left and top, but then you have a science exhibit bang in the middle, which is the Panoptic Pillar. I assume this was done to help with their security measures within this room itself, which I think is a really clever way of helping out that as well. You then have the astral anomalies as well as the time portal one as well, which is activated via the astral anomalies. But it's all kind of blended together, and it has a nice sort of feel to the room. Not only that, you have the use of the flooring to help break up the room further. It's a really nice touch to help create that distinction between the different areas, especially around the lawnmowers. I think this is fantastic. This suburban space garden sort of thing, you know, and they've got a few modded items with the flamingo in, but I think that just really sells it. But yeah, I think it's just a little fantastic, neat little touch that is. The next section I wanted to flag was mostly to highlight the different blend of the exhibits. You know, you have a mixture of botany, the space the Frogborn artifacts, and then also the supernatural with the use of the Frogborn ghosts. And again, it's just that great blend here, using the cool blues of each of those to help tie it all together. Personally, it never even occurred to me as well to blend the foreign fauna ones, like the space plants, with any of the space exhibits before. And I don't know why I haven't done that. So thank you for that inspiration. I plan to use that in some of my future builds as we go forward, especially with the latest Digiverse update that did introduce a few new space-faring botany exhibits with the Revenge of the Savage Planet tie-in that we've just got. But overall, again, similar to the other room, it's a nice compact layout overall with almost like a life cycle sort of feel going to the room itself, you know, with like the plants and then the ghosts representing the death side if you want to get really into it and everything there. But my favourite part of Motherly's build is actually seems quite like a minor detail, but it's had a big impact on me, and I think it have a big impact on the build itself. And that's the little immersive planetarium you can see in the top left hand side. They've come up with this really clever way of showcasing the interactive exhibits, the interactive displays that you have for entertainment purposes, creating this sort of planetarium where with the use of the star flooring and the wallpaper with the planet, and as well as the map as well, which kind of helps sells it that bit further as well. And I actually loved this idea so much when I first saw it. I've used it in my most recent Zoozium Let's Play series, but instead of a planetarium, I've adapted it into a prehistoric jungle where I've used a mural as the backdrop where they have the space map there, and then just added some additional decorations to help sell it further. But I think that's a really great part, is that you can take these ideas that you see and adapt it to how you like, and this is something that I plan to do with some other themes as well. Look at myself how to do that with maybe like science, and something maybe with marine life as well, and have like an underwater theme there. But it's just a really excellent idea, and it's a really excellent build overall. So thank you for sharing this and your museum with the community as a whole. I definitely recommend checking out the full post. I will make sure to link it in the description below. Now, before we get on to the second showcase, just a bit of context. A few weeks ago, I posted some floor mural designs where I was really just experimenting to see how far the game's aesthetics tools could be pushed. And Discord user Harrison, he immediately yoinked that idea, as he would say, and just absolutely ran with it. So to accompany one of his aquariums and help to add that extra layer of design and decoration, which is really the whole point of the floor murals in general, he whipped up a really simple, clean and straightforward design that just really works, I think, to sell the whole area itself. And it just adds some additional colour in a unique way that doesn't actually obstruct guests or staff pathing as well to even view the exhibits themselves. But what I love most is really the use of the rock-like floor tiles as the rocks and reefs themselves. You know, it's almost the definition of work smarter, not harder. And another thing I'd like to flag that he also shared within the same post was his meteor impact here, which I think is just such a really creative way to not only just blend the exhibits, but also showcase that you can do so much more with this game rather than just placing exhibits down. You can create these real immersive experiences. And this is actually a good moment to shout out the Discord in general. There are so many creative builds being shared there all the time, you know, different layouts, themes, rooms and everything, and it's a really inspiring space if you're just looking to up your design game in general. I will make sure that the link is in the description too. Now heading back to Reddit, this one takes the floor murals idea even further with some more intricate patterns, shapes and concepts, and I just really love the creativity from Momo of BAM and their use of space throughout to showcase how flexible 2.2 Museum's tools can be when you're willing to experiment a bit. So we'll start with a almost like a before and after shot here, and I love the use of the chemical flask on the left hand side. You know, you have a good contrast of colours with those like dark greens, and then the orange. I think it's like wooden floor tiles, I think it is, you see in the final shot. But it really showcases what can be done in terms of not just, you know, animals for the museum DLC, but, you know, you can look to do something within the current themes in the game itself. But what I like most about this is how it breaks up the sections themselves. You know, so it's not just got one floor mural as like a centerpiece. You have a floor mural per section, and it helps indicate what you might find in those specific areas themselves, such as the flowers below the flask, you know, is likely and will be the botany section. So what we'll do is we'll just jump ahead to the final shot. So the flowers themselves are almost like the base, you know, the stems, the roots, or whatever you want to call it, for the exhibits themselves, with each having their own colour to better help the specific exhibits on display just pop a little bit more and stand out. And with the flask up ahead, you can see that's reserved for the science exhibits. Again, having that visual stamp to say, you know, that's what's going to be in this area here, basically. And I think it's just a really clever way of doing so. And then finally, Momo also kindly shared some other design ideas that clearly indicate where their space exhibits are going to be positioned as well. You know, you have the use of the rocket ships both on the left and the right side. With the right one, it kind of looks more like a blend between floor murals and, you know, partitions and like actual items themselves, maybe like info boards. And it really brings that blend of functional yet aesthetically pleasing layout in general. And it's a really clever way to showcase, you know, it's part floor mural, part, you know, functional walk space and everything. But I think my favourite bit is actually the little alien at the top left of the screen. It looks to me like a Space Invader from one of the classic arcade games, and I just really love it. It's a really clever use of actually 2D art in the grid flooring system we have within 2 Point Museum, and it's given me inspiration to create a full Space Invaders sort of floor mural and layout in general for one of my builds. You know, maybe with the Digiverse arcade machines acting as the bunkers that you have to fire in between, and then maybe have a separate exhibit that would be like the laser or something. But either way, they're all brilliant designs, so thank you again for sharing them and your builds. And again, I'll make sure to link below in the description. But that's it from me. Honestly, seeing how brilliant and creative this community is has been incredibly motivating and inspiring. And, you know, I'd really love to do more of these videos if people do enjoy them. So if you have built something you are proud of and would like it to be featured in a future community spotlight video, please feel free to reach out. I'll be sure to leave all the links in the description and how you can also get in contact with me. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.